How you guys and girls doing today, y'all? It's Simpson918, man, and I just wanted to do a video debating a very popular topic. I know no matter what I say, half of the people are going to hate it and the other half are going to like it, but it's going to be Radahn versus Malenia in an actual death battle. Who would win in a fight if one of them had to die? Now, as we all know, of course, Malenia is the Scarlet Rot goddess. She, long story short, did not want to have Scarlet Rot, but she was born with it and it took her over, and she was undefeated in battle until she met Radahn. Radahn, on the other hand, of course, long story short, was a fighter since birth. He decided to learn gravity magic so he didn't hurt his horsey, and then he decided, you know what, I'm going to fight the stars and then lock them so that way they cannot move, and he did just that. And then for the rest of his life he wandered the area that he was set to be at until Malenia came and fought him to a standstill, infected him with Scarlet Rot, and then of course he wandered the lands waiting until someone could give him an honorable death. Now, of course, based on the trailers and videos that we've seen, we did see that Radahn was able to cut off Malenia's arm, and then she was able to stab him, and then I believe herself as well, of course, to unleash the Scarlet Rot. But the main question that a lot of people have, including myself, is what happens after this. They leave it up to us, and that's what a lot of the games do, you know, From Software games. Of course, they want to leave it up to the player to decide, but we do know that Clean Rot Knight Finlay eventually carried Malenia back to the Hellic Tree, and then Radahn was infected by the Scarlet Rot, and then eventually over time it started to affect him to the point where he became feral and started feasting on the bodies on the battlefield, and the rest, of course, is history. But what happened after that moment? When he was knocked back, and this is when the speculation begins, when she unleashed the Scarlet Rot, right? When it knocked her out, was Radahn knocked out as well? That would be the simplest answer. That would be a true stalemate, right? Because Radahn would be knocked out and completely incapable of finishing her off, and she would be knocked out as well, meaning she was carried back to the Hellic Tree. But what happens if she was knocked back and knocked out, but Radahn wasn't? But just like at the beginning, you see there's an honor thing when they both allow themselves to pick up their weapon for battle. Radahn is able to pick up his gravity swords, Malenia is able to pick up and put on her arm and stuff like that. So what happens if Radahn was knocked back, but he wasn't knocked unconscious, and he was towering over Malenia's body, but decided not to finish her off because he didn't think that would be honorable? Then it wouldn't be a stalemate, right? Or we can go in between. Let's just say that she was knocked back and knocked out, and then Radahn was knocked back. He wasn't knocked out, but he was incapable of fighting, meaning that he was conscious and he did see Clean Rot Knight Finlay carry her away, but he just couldn't do anything about it because he was too weak to get back up. That would mean that it would be a stalemate as well. But if there had to be one winner, y'all, if there had to be one winner, I'm gonna personally have to go with, and I'm sorry for half of the community, but I'm gonna have to go with Radahn. And the main reason I'm gonna go with Radahn is because even though they were both close to their prime but not quite in it when they fought, Radahn is holding back the stars, man. Radahn is holding back the stars while Malenia is holding back the Scarlet Rot, which is no easy feat in and of itself, but this dude is holding back the constellations. They have both been in battle before this, so they're both relatively weak. Comparing the two, in my own opinion, man, holding back the stars versus holding back Scarlet Rot, I would think that doing the stars would just be way harder than holding back Scarlet Rot. Now, another thing I'd like to say as well when it comes to Radahn is that Malenia was using her Scarlet Rot as a last-ditch effort, a last attempt in order to best Radahn. This was her putting her pride on the line and saying, I've never been defeated and I refuse to lose, and she did that and only made it a stalemate. So who's to say that Radahn didn't have something up his sleeve or something that he could have unleashed that could have pressed her enough to unleash her Scarlet Rot anyway? What happens if Radahn had something in the entire time and he wasn't ready to kill her just yet? But all of this, of course, is just pure speculation and opinion. This is not fact. I mean, the official game says that it's a stalemate. stalemate. So I guess we'll just have to leave it for speculation. Hopefully in the future, as DLC and things like that come out, we'll get a better and more clear understanding, and we'll see more insight into what truly happened after the fight, so we can make a definite decision as to who was the victor. But for me, y'all, and I know this was a short video, I'm just gonna have to lean more towards Radahn, because he's holding back the stars, which seems like a greater feat than holding back the Scarlet Rot, on top of the fact that that was her trump card. That was her last move that she launched out of desperation in order to try to beat him, and it still wasn't enough to actually best him. So you let me know down in the comments below, y'all, what you think, if you agree or if not, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Tim918 out of here.